Hi, my name is Carolyn and I own Moonlights. I make and sell bath and body products and wax tarts. Today I'm going to share with you my first tutorial making liquid Castile soap. The name Castile comes from Castile, Spain. They are known for their olives, and traditionally Castile soap was made with olive oil and animal fat. Today it is made with a variety of oils. My products are plant-based and vegan friendly. I use olive oil, hemp oil, castor oil, and coconut oil. Another ingredient you will need is potassium hydroxide. Potassium hydroxide, also known as lye, is used to make liquid soap. If you were making a bar of soap, you would use sodium hydroxide. Both products are a Class 8 corrosive material on the material safety data sheet, so you will need to take safety precautions. You will need to wear a mask, goggles, protective gloves, and make sure your arms are covered when dealing with it. Through a process called saponification, the potassium hydroxide does not exist in the final product. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial and thank you for watching. For this DIY making Moonlights Castile soap, you will need some equipment and a few ingredients. We will need a crock pot that's at least 5 quarts or higher, a scale, a stick blender, and some oils. My recipe for the oils are 20 ounces of coconut oil, 6.9 ounces of olive oil, 6 ounces of castor oil, and 5 ounces of hemp oil. We want to weigh those out and get them in the crock pot, get them heated and melted. I have my crock pot at the moment set at high. While that is heating up and melting, we want to get started on our lye solution. You need a heavy-duty plastic bowl that can withstand temperatures over 200 degrees Fahrenheit, a spoon or a spatula as well. I'm using a silicone. For the bowl, people have used plastic and it broke, or they used they've used glass bowls and they broke due to the heat the lye and the water mixture created, or they used plastic and it melted. So you want to make sure whatever you're using can withstand over 200 degrees Fahrenheit. You will need some safety equipment, gloves, goggles, a face mask. You want to do this in a well-ventilated area. I've seen people on Facebook do it underneath their exhaust fans on the stove. I'm not comfortable with that, so I will be going outside. We will be using potassium hydroxide. This is for liquid soap. If we were doing bars of soap, we would use sodium hydroxide. But for this, we're using potassium hydroxide. This is also known as lye, caustic potash, or KOH. We will use distilled water. Using tap water could have microorganisms in them or small particles, just things that may react with the lye, could make your shampoo go bad, or whatever it is you're making. I'm making shampoo. So we want to use distilled water. With the potassium hydroxide, when we are mixing this, we always want to pour the lye into the water. You do not add the water to the lye. Adding the water to the lye could cause a volcanic explosion. I haven't experienced this. I don't wish to, but that's apparently what will happen if you do it. I wouldn't recommend doing it either, so let's remember to always pour the lye into the water. I'm going to get started with measuring my lye and water. The measurements for that would be 14.40 ounces of water and 8.50 ounces of lye. 8.5 ounces of lye, sorry. I have a little setup to hold my camera up. I'm my own cameraman. So, I'm going to measure my lye into a glass container. So into this bowl we will measure 8.5 ounces of the KOH, the lye. I will measure out my 14.4 ounces of water. Of course, I put too much in, so I'm gonna take some out. No, that's perfect. Okay, 14.40. And I'm gonna stop this video and I'll meet you outside so we can mix the lye. So here we are outside. I'm going to pour the lye into the water. You want to do it slowly. Sorry, my phone's dying. We're going to do it slowly. You'll be able to hear the reaction. It gives up toxic fumes for a few moments. And this is why they tell you to do it in a ventilated place. This is why I do it outside. It's also heated up to about or over 200 degrees. It's extremely hot. See the steam coming off of there? So I'm gonna be safe and I'm gonna turn off my camera and carry this in the house then. So the lye has been mixed. It's now clear. I'm going to slowly pour it into my crock pot. Okay, now that my lye mixture and my oil mixture is together in the crock pot, if you notice I poured it slowly and I used my spatula. I don't know if you could see it, I'm sorry. But I used my spatula to prevent it from splashing all over the place. So I'm just mixing this up a little bit. I'm going to use my stick blender now, which of course needs to be plugged in. Okay, so let's give you a close-up of what we're going on here. So this is what it's looking like. We're gonna blend and mix this until it becomes a trace. It'll be like kind of like a applesauce pudding at trace. So I'm gonna stop this. Like I said, you want to continue doing this. It could take anywhere from half an hour to 45 minutes. So I'm just going to keep mixing this and going at it. Once I get trace, I'll come back and show you what we're working with. So I'm at what looks like applesauce. So we're like moments away from trace. For the last half hour, I just been mixing here with my stick blender and stirring a little bit with the actual blender. See, looks just like applesauce. And I see we have a bit of a trace going on. At this point, I'm just going to mix it a little bit more, and then what we're going to do is we're going to cap it, put the lid on, and every half an hour we're going to come check it, see what phase it's at, give it a little stir, and put the cap back on. So I'll see you in half an hour. So it's been about 45 minutes. I'm at a thick, like pudding type of stage. My stick blender got hot and quit on me, so I'm beating it with a whisk. It's starting to get a little translucent. We just got to keep on going. So I'm going to let this sit for about another half an hour, come back, mix it, and I'll show you what we're working with then. So here I am again about 45 minutes later, and if you can see, the gel is like starting to form here. We want to mix this up. Now it's like mashed potatoes. So I'm going to fold this over here. I'm actually going to turn this down now to low. I don't want to burn it. If you have medium, you'd want to put it on medium, but my crock pot doesn't have a medium. So I'm going to put the lid back on and we'll continue cooking. Okay, so here we are. We're kind of at like the blob stage. To me, it kind of reminds me of booger soap. I've made it once. If you want to make it, you can find the recipe on naturesgardencandles.com. It's made with their melt and pour soap. I actually get a lot of my ingredients from them. They're a great company to work with. But back to my soap. It's getting there. It's still cooking. As you can see, it's getting more translucent every time we check it. You just want to mix it a little bit. Put the lid back on and leave it for another 35 to 45 minutes. It's like water. The saying, "Watch pot never boils," that goes with this too. It If you just stand here and stare at it, it seems to do nothing. So we're going to leave it alone for another little bit and come back and check it again. So here we go again. As you can see, here on the sides, the gel is starting to form. Gonna mix it again. So you have to keep folding it. See how it's still like a foamish, trying to think of the word, like a foamish blob here. So I'm gonna flip it because we want this soap to cook evenly. I just burnt myself, that's okay. I'll survive. So, there I flipped it, and just keep cooking. This is not easy, it's a long process. It's kind of boring. But the end result will be your very own liquid soap, which you can make shampoos, body washes, hand soap, dish soap, pretty much any type of product that takes liquid soap. So I'll see you again in a little bit. Okay, so the soap looks to be about done. I'm going to take the lid off here. Mix it up a little bit, and we're going to do the soap test. Okay, to test if this is done, you'll need about a half cup of warm water. And we're going to add about a teaspoon and a half, a tablespoon of soap to the water. Let me get... So about right there should be good. We're going to mix it in here. It'd have been better with like a small whisk, but I don't have a small whisk here. See the bubbles? We're just waiting for the soap to completely dissolve into the water. Getting there. I'm gonna just pull some of this soap down into the water instead of being stuck on the spoon. There we go. Sorry about that. So we're gonna let that soap dissolve. See the nice little bubbles on there? Okay, I'm gonna spray the bubbles now with some alcohol. This'll my spray bottle doesn't want to work. There we go. And you want to make sure that it's nice and clear. I could see right through it. We can see the what is that? The whisk back there. And we'll check over here with the books. See how we can read the book right there? This means that the soap is done. So now what we're going to do is dilute our paste. Dilute our paste. So I'm going to stir this a little bit. Oops. Pointing the camera completely the wrong way. Oh, and now I'm zooming in. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill this up with water. I'm going to cover it all with water. My crock pot isn't big enough for the amount of soap I made. So I'll have to do this multiple times before it's all diluted. There we go. Put a little bit more in there. So there, it's going to start diluting now. I'm going to put the lid on this and leave it alone for about 8 hours, which would typically be overnight. And then I will strain off the soap that's been diluted, and then I'll again dump water in it and let it dilute. But for now, we're going to leave that alone. I'm not going to bore you every 30 minutes showing what's going on. So when I'm ready to pour, I'll come back and show you. Here is the final product. I pulled it out with a ladle and funneled it into my container. I've made a little over 2 gallons. These sell for $63.99 a gallon online. Not mine personally. I don't sell mine. If you'd like to see any other tutorials from me, just feel free to ask. I can make anything from lotions, conditioners, makeup, lip gloss. Sorry about the camera. Like I said, this was my first one, so I'll ask for help on my second one to make it a little better. Thank you for watching. Bye.